Meteor Impact.
Next, we have introduction to Meteor Accounts. So let's jump straight into it. So I was gonna start from beginning with introduction as well for people who have not been watching, who will be watching later on. So once again, hello everybody. My name is Jan Dvořák, aka Storyteller or Storyteller CZ on the social media. I'm the conference organizer. I've been working with MeteorJS since 2015. I'm part of the core Meteor contributors team. I'm not affiliated with Meteor software itself. I'm here, or always am, through the community and through my company, Literary Universe, which goes kind of follows from my aspirations to become a sci-fi writer. And as you can guess by the picture, I'm a Japan enthusiast. So today I'll be talking about Meteor Accounts. So I'm gonna give you a big overview and introduction. I believe Meteor Accounts is one of the most awesome features of Meteor, and always has been. And it's expanding, and there's a lot more new stuff going on. But I think sometimes people forget on some of the old stuff. So this is reminder maybe for the more experienced people, but also a soft introduction for everybody else. So we'll cover kind of all the big bases. So if you actually go into the source code and open the packages folder in Meteor, first thing that kind of comes at you are the account packages, because it starts with A, so it's all nicely there. How this is sorted is we have a base package for accounts where we have a lot of the internals and everything else that kind of glues everything together. And then we have passwords, we have passwordless, we have two-factor authentication, we have OAuth, which I'll talk about. We do have some UI packages for Blaze, and most recently, we also have the addition of roles for authorization access. So what is in the base package? This is where all the configuration that you pass in through Meteor settings or accounts.config gets handled. It has the Meteor methods like meteor.userid or .user. It has the hooks like on login or logout, logout, and all these kind of basic things, or like on create user. And it also has auto publishing for the necessary fields. So you don't have to do that manually. Of course, you can override that. You can add more fields on that, but that is not probably something that you want to do unless you know really what you're doing, what you want to do. Of course, it also manages the collection. By default, the auto publishes the username field, and for the login user emails, and the profile field. In generally, you can kind of put anything into the profile field, but it's recommended that you don't really extend the user collection or put anything into the profile field, because that might change, and if there's like any migration or anything else happening, it might overwrite what you put in there. It's never really happened, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. So, and I would say in general, it's better to kind of put any user configuration into, I would say, a profile collection of your own, which you then publish, and you can then be more discerning in what you are publishing. And this is how it can look. in the database. So it's users collection. I already talked about the profile field, but what you will also find is the services object that kind of goes like this. And under that, that is where you have the password, the resume tokens, any email tokens, and you can see here, you can kind of guess that I have OAuth for Line, Twitter, Facebook, Meteor Developer, some Web3 stuff, Cessna, which is kind of the check Google, and also details about the two-factor authentication. Then we have the email fields or array, which includes the email address, and then if it's verified and any other additional details, but usually it's address, and if it's verified, true or false. And that's kind of where the tokens in Resume come in. And then there's of course the profile object that I mentioned. So that's the database at quick glance. Of course, I have created that, and the underscored ID, of which for security reasons, of course, I don't have here. So that's the database. And then we have, I would say, the basic password package that you can add, and that will enable the login with username and password. Right now, we have two, you could say, hashing algorithms, bcrypt and newly Argon 2. And my recommendation is turn on Argon 2 if you can. It's a stronger hashing algorithm, and it's the future. So please turn that on in the settings. Check the documentation. It's a very easy to try that out. Part of this username accounts, of course, is the emailing system for the user needs. So, reset password and email verification, all of that is included. And then there is a lot of other things when it comes to the security around this. It's been kind of working and updated for 10 years, and we haven't really had any, at least to my knowledge, any security issues with it. So it's a very strong, highly recommended. One other thing to kind of mention is you can choose between session and local storage if you want to limit, for example, for how long or how where the data for the login is stored. So, for example, for a financial institution, that's why we added this. You can switch to session storage, so that once the user closes the session, once they reopen and they have to log in again. For normal applications or that don't require these more strict security settings, you will be happy, I think, with the local storage default, so that when the user comes back after a while back to the application, they are still logged in. But of course, you can always change the expiry time as well. So we have all of that. So OAuth. What the heck is OAuth? It stands for Open Authorization. You might also know it as SSO or Single Sign-On. In essence, what it is, it's the buttons like sign in with Facebook, sign in with Google. You click on that, it will take you to the Google server where you give a consent. It will tell you, what you share. That will be then sent back to the service or your app, and then there's going to be some handshakes happening in the background to get all the necessary data to create or sign into your account. In the core, we have Facebook, GitHub, Google, Meetup, Meteor Developer, NX and Twitter, and deprecated is Weibo. Personally, I'm going to still have an ongoing beef. I want Apple login as well in the core. That said, Meteor supports both OAuth 1 and OAuth 2, and we do have gonna keep things expanding as we can, or in this right now as there are contributions from the community. Let's see if I'm missing anything here. Yes, there's if you go to Atmosphere, you can search usually for the service you're looking for, and there is usually an OAuth package that you can add in tomorrow in my workshop, kind of going more in depth into this. If there is interest, I will show you how to create your own OAuth package for your service. So again, kind of how given how Meteor accounts are also very let's say modular, or you can very easily plug in whatever else you need as well. And Guilherme had here a comment that Microsoft out should be in core as well. I think that's a fair point, and it's just a matter of kind of say conflicting philosophies that we need to resolve and hopefully get something in. Though Microsoft is a bit more of a tough cookies when it comes to OAuth, because they are kind of a little bit more complicated, to put it mildly. So a few years back, we had a new package called Passwordless. This is kind of following the trend of not having a password. We just need your email. And then once you kind of put in your email, it will send a link to your email through which you then log in into the app. So I personally am not fan of it because I have my fancy password manager and all of that, and I kind of prefer to do it kind of find faster through that. But I know there's a lot of people who really love not to having to have like a password. They just want to be able to put in their email, get a login link, and go through that, and don't have to bother about anything like that. So that is also an option that's available out of the core. And of course, we must not forget about enhanced security through two-factor authentication. Uh, it's an additional check via one-time password or OTP. And then, once you set it up, it generates a code for you that you usually scan into an application like a free OTP, and uh, then I can kind of show it. Here's OPT, and it will kind of generate a time-based code that you copy on request into the system, and that's kind of like a check that it's truly you, and it's not somebody else that somehow got hold of your login credentials. So that's super useful, and if you need that extra layer of security, then it's definitely something that you should implement. Hopefully in the future we'll be able to we'll have, or at least I want to do it, but if anybody else beats me to it, I won't complain. But I want to also add support for YubiKeys or hardware keys, and other pass keys that because there's a lot of expanding options. So this is definitely an area that needs improvement, and that is going to get improvement. We've kind of already started towards it, and in the next release we will have some new stuff, but it's kind of building up so that we can expand on that. And speaking of building up, and this is actually where we, in the next release in Meteor 3.4, hopefully, we will have more of that. Just quickly, addresses here. We have the +1 for passkeys, and it's also important to distinguish here. Let me kind of just go back for a little bit. Distinguish here between between uh, between passkeys and YubiKeys. So hardware keys and passkeys. For example, I think if I'm correctly, the passkeys that are kind of getting all the rage recently, which is like scan your face, and it's kind of mostly handled by the operating system. For me, as a Linux user, I don't have that, so I don't have that much of a way of kind of testing that and implementing that, but I'll definitely support anybody who wants to move this, and I will be more focusing on implementing it for hardware keys, which is supported everywhere. Now I kind of want to we have 15 minutes left, so 5 minutes for this and then 10 minutes for questions and answers. Latest addition that we have to accounts is roles, and that is from the Alanink roles package that has been moved to the core with version 4. So I think this has been something long coming and needed to have this authorization layer in the core of Meteor. So this allows you to set up different roles, or you could say access rules with scopes, and assign them to the users. It's version 4. It has been the official recommendation as well for many years. So definitely something that you should have if you have at least a little bit more advanced application than the very basics of branch. If you have admins in your application, then this is a package that you need to have. So it can limit the user access. It can it allows you to check if the people have the permissions to do what they want to do. It's pretty straightforward to use, and I think that's all I kind of want to say about that. There are some improvements coming to it, and if my pull request will get merged, then there will be new options in the Meteor settings that you can turn on and add. That, for example, the first user that registers will get the admin role. So, of course, it's not the only way how you can manage things. For example, Dimitri says here that they use separate collection for users and admins. That's also an option. It also depends, on exactly what you're building. But I think the roles package is very, very flexible in many ways, and will fill most of the needs of, I would say, most of the applications that you will be building. So with that said, now is some time for questions and answers. Also, please follow the QR code or the link here if you to give me feedback, and let me share that into our shared notes so that you can follow through that. So it's in the shared notes. You can follow on that. Let me go back to the yeah, another thing also when it comes to roles, if you already use Alien roles on the latest version 4, the migration to the official roles package now in the core is that you just change the imports from meteor/aligning roles to just meteor/roles, and that's it. You don't have to change anything else. Of course, it will become a bit more difficult once there are additional improvements, but I think given the maturity of the package, that's unlikely to happen. So, question, feel free to raise your hand and to come on. I'm turning on my headphones so I can hear you if you want to, or you can, of course, write into the chat. I'll give you a few more moments, but again, we have the opportunity to speak here, so feel free to do so. So raise your hand and we can add that. Yes, Aaron, if you want to, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Go ahead. I don't see you. You're unmuted, but I don't see you speaking. Interesting. Or I can actually probably maybe take the question from the chat. So are there any other historical packages that you'd like to see move to core? Yes, there is a constant debate which packages should be moved to the core. I've already mentioned that I want to see one of the Apple OAuths move to the core. I think we need to make a decision on a cron job package to move into the core. There are, of course, the database migrations package. Let me quickly. Oh man. Yeah, the Percolate migration package, I think, which is still the most popular and which I help to upgrade as well, should be moved into the core. And I would say in general, a lot of the Percolate packages that still make sense, or that that are still useful, should be moved into the core. If you remember, Percolate was a company in the early days of Meteor that was then bought by MDG for their talent. But yeah, Percolate migrations, Percolate synchron, and maybe one or two of the other ones definitely should be, in my opinion, upgraded, moved to the core. Dimitri is mentioning raise uplog. I think we'll have to kind of wait for Meteor 3.5 with the change streams and what kind of will be the options. We'll have a talk from Radek, let's say kind of in that direction. So I will be referring to him for the best opinion on that. But I do think that when it comes to accounts, the oil packages, but we just need to really build up all the other new security, passkeys, hardware keys, and all these other new things in. Potentially, I would even be very much open to some sort of a Web3 out package in a core, because if you actually look to Atmosphere, you will find Ethereum packages, because when Ethereum got started, it was some of the services around it were built on Meteor. So that's definitely a idea or place where that we can expand, and I think might be super interesting as well. I did in the past build a Web3, as you have seen, authorization, but I did not keep it up to date. So that's something I need to look into. From Valerie, what is the best way to integrate external auth system? Example, I have two apps with Meteor and without, and I want to have separate auth services to hold single auth for both of the app. Okay, that depends. I think that's something also to kind of explore more tomorrow, and it's something that other people have done. It's not easy. Also depends a lot on your setup. Do you have different databases? But let me see. What you need to really do is to have just like one source of truth for uh, when it comes to users. Okay, single DB, that makes it easier. My recommendation would be gonna create a login through the main application. That's one option. Jan Kuster actually has a OAuth 2 server provider, so you can kind of make your application into OAuth provider, and then you can consume that on the other application, or since it's a single DB, then you can then probably the easiest, even more easier would be to have that you have some REST endpoint for login that will then kind of go through the Meteor login, return you the code that kind of shows the user, or that kind of saved. So you will have to kind of go deep into, or well, deep in quotes, into how the authentication happens on could say on the Meteor side, on the client side, and kind of implement that in the other app. Or you mean like Meteor whole out process? Yes, I would go with that you kind of ping uh, Meteor with the login credentials, or what you can do is you can have a login page, or that kind of does a redirect like out, and then for the other app goes in. There's again multiple options, depends on how much complicated, how much secure you want to have it, and other ways. The easiest one would be from the other application, have a REST call to the Meteor endpoint, where all the Meteor things happen. It will log in the user, and it will then return to you some sort of a identifier, or like the data for the user, that then the application processes and displays the username and all the other things. So, or you can uh, kind of take out the basics if it's just login with password from the Meteor packages, since you're connected to the same DB. And if it's if that other application has its own backend, then you can query the database and make the checks for example for the password in the same manner that Meteor does, and then you can just plug it in or do it on there as you want. So many options. Really depends on the details of the implementation. Okay. With that, next we have Mike King coming in with his talk, A New Approach to Integration Testing. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'll leave it to Mike. We have 2 minutes, so I'll give you some time to prepare. Let me find. There we go. I'm making you a presenter, and I'll make sure that the backup recording is all set as well.